Welcome back to the shop and the channel, and to this is not the violin I'm building. This is my wife's violin that she plays now. She has another one that she plays. Well, this one's being worked on. I'll get to that in a second. But this pile of wood right here is quarter sawn poplar, and that's going to be another one of those floor looms that we make for a customer, friend of ours. And I have another project in the house, in the shop, excuse me. It's this chair that I'm restoring. It's an antique chair. I'm just putting new slats across the open frame, as you can see in the picture. So what's going on here? Well, Mara wanted to change the imitation ebony parts, the tailpiece and the tuning pegs and rear peg, saddle peg, to boxwood. Let me bring it up to the camera so you can see the boxwood. These are boxwood parts. They look better, and they're more traditional. So we did that, but she wanted to do that. But in the interim, when she destrung the violin and started working on it, the sound post, which sits under the bridge right about here on the violin, right about there. Here's a picture of a sound post inside the violin. I took one of my borescopes. This is after I reset it. I didn't go into filming the resetting of the sound post or the bridge I'm going to show you in a sec, making the bridge, because I'm going to go into more detail with the violin kit that I'm working on. So I basically reset the sound post. Hopefully it's in the right place. And what that does is it helps transmit vibration from the top plate to the bottom plate, but also gives the top plate strength to hold the tension of the springs as the bridge gets pushed down. Also in this picture, you'll see there's a bass bar, which is on the underneath the other side. For this video, this is the right side here, this is the left side here. So the sound post is under the right side here, and the bass bar is under the bridge on the left side here. So that's ready to get finished to set up. But she noticed that the bridge that came with the violin was not very well made, and she's not sure if that played any in the sound the violin made. By the way, this violin has a name. It's called Movavi. For those who don't know that reference, Movavi is a character in the Babylon 5 series. He was the Centauri ambassador, and he was a loudmouth. So this is a loud violin. Got great voice, but it's not perfect. So I needed to make a new bridge for her. So bring the camera down and I'll show you some of the details of the bridge and the new one. Here's the original bridge. And although it looks great, if you look on, I don't know if you can see it very well, but if you look at it, this is supposed to be tapered in that direction and flat on this side. So flat on this side, tapered in the other, on this side, that direction, that way. And it's not really tapered, it's just rounded over here. And then it goes down like the normal. And that's okay, but she wanted something more appropriate. So we have a bunch of these bridge blanks in shop, and this is basically a starter. And then you carve this with hand tools and a plane to get to the shape and size and everything you need. So first thing I want you to notice is the thickness of the feet. Thickness of the feet. They're about 1 millimeter. See? Look at the thickness of the feet on this one. Yeah, so you have to carve those down to about 1 millimeter, like that. And there's an asymmetric curve here on the top of the bridge. So you duplicate that on your bridge blank, which I did here. This is the new bridge. Again, I don't know if you can see it in camera very well, but where is it? Where are we here? Yeah. So this is the flat side, and this is the curved side. Another side, the beveled side. No, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. This is the flat side, and this is the beveled side. So this is flat, and it'll be flat to the scroll, and this is the curved side, and this will be facing the tailpiece. And I carved the feet down to little tiny thinny things, and I had to do a couple other little cuts to it, and then I marked on the top with pencil where the strings go, and I'm waiting for a Luthier's file to come this afternoon so I can file those in place, and then Mara can reassemble finish reassembling the violin and play it and see how it works out. Back to the chair for a moment. This is one of a pair. The other chair had the seat had failed on it years ago, and the seat was this molded plywood with a pattern cut into it. I don't have those anymore. I took them out and threw it away. So the other chair failed years ago, and it was repaired by someone, and they just put slats across where the seat goes, and it works wonderfully. This one now has to have the same thing done to match the other one. These are antiques. And what it is 5/8 slats that go from right to left across all the way around for the seat that replaces the plywood. I don't have a picture, I think. I maybe have a picture somewhere with the plywood in it. So if I can find the manufacturer that made these chairs years ago, I'll leave a link in the description. They have a whole line of, I think I've seen some pictures, they have a whole line of these things. So that's another project that I'm kind of working on the side. Oh, and one more thing. A violin needs a violin case. So when I started this project years ago, I started the case. This is going to be a period style case. I made it with bent laminations here, and solid wood here and here. This is just the frame for the case itself. I have to make a top and put the bottom in, all the stuff inside. And this, I was going to do this as a painted project, but I think I've decided, pretty sure I've decided, we'll see, I might do this as a veneered project and put some fancy veneer on the whole thing. And the top will either be, the dome shape like this, or the bell shape like that. I don't know if that makes any sense. So, violin, chair, case. So until next time, make great things out of wood.